Hey guys, today's video lesson is estimating fraction sums and differences. Make sure you have your journal and a pencil and you're ready to begin. So, here's our objective. Might want to write this down. Today, hopefully, you're going to learn to estimate sums and differences of fractions and mixed numbers. You can estimate fractions by rounding either to 0, 1/2, or 1. So let's look at our example number line here. The fraction 3/4 is halfway between some number and 1. Here's 3/4 right here. It's between 1 and what number? Oh, I did that. That's weird. So it's between 1/2 and 1. It's exactly the same distance from 1/2 and 1. So, since it's in the middle, that means halfway, we're going to round up. That's usually what we do when we're halfway somewhere. We round up. So, the fraction 3/4 rounds up to 1. If you had 75 cents, which is 3/4 of a dollar, you would say you have about $1. You can round fractions by comparing the numerator and the denominator. Here's a little number line from 0 to 1. Fractions that are closer to 0, like 1/5, 2/11ths, and 2/15ths. Each numerator, for instance 1, is much less than half of the denominator, 5. Half of 5 would be 2.5. 1 is less than half, so we would say that this fraction, 1/5, is closer to 0. 2 is way less than half of 11, so we're going to estimate this one, or round this one to 0. And 2/15ths, 2 is way less than half of 15, so we're going to estimate 2/15ths to be 0. Now these fractions are closer to half. 5 is close to half of 11. If you had 11 pies, I would have to eat 5.5 of them to be half. 5 would be pretty close to that. 4/7 is pretty close to half. 4 is close to half of 7, and 9 is close to half of 20. Half of 20 would be 10/20. So if I had 10/20, that would be exactly half. 9/20 is pretty close, so we're going to round 9/20 to half because it's pretty close to half. Now these fractions are closer to 1. If you have 9/10 of all of Matthew's stinky shoes, you would have almost all of them. So we're going to round it up to 1. Now if you had 16/19 of all of Jackson's Barbies, you would have almost all of them. So we would say you would have one whole group. And if you ate 6/7 of all of the toe jam that Alec has, that would be almost all of it. So let's do some sample problems here. One of my favorite students are working. So we have 6/7 plus 3/8. Well, let's estimate the answer. Now it's plus, so we're going to find the sum. 6/7. 6/7 is pretty close to the whole thing, because if you have 6 out of the 7, I don't know. Let's say, Michael kept 6 out of his 7 dirty diapers. So that's almost the whole thing, so you would say 1. So we would just say 6/7 is 1, and 3/8 is close. 3/8 is pretty close to half, because half of 8 is 4, so 4/8 is half. So it's pretty close to half, so we're going to round that one, or estimate that one to be half. So we have 1 and, I guess, 3/8. So 6/7, think the 6/7 rounds to 1, and 3/8 rounds to half, because 3/8 is close to 4/8, which is half. So 1 plus a half equals 1 1/2. 6/7 rounded to 1. 3/8 rounded to half. 1 1/2. There we go. 9/10 minus 7/8. It's a pretty hard one, guys. Well, 9/10. Is 9 almost half of 10? That's considerably more than half of 10. It's pretty much the whole thing almost. So we're going to round that one to 1. 7/8 is pretty close to the whole thing, so we're going to round that one to the whole thing. So we'd have 1 minus 1. So I want you to think that 9/10 rounds to 1, 7/8 rounds to 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0. Let's look at another one. 5/6. Okay, 5/6 plus 3/7. Think that 5/6 right here, that's pretty close. 5 is pretty close to 6. That'd be the whole thing. That's rounds to 1. 3/7. Oh, great. 3/7 is pretty close to half because half of 7 is 3 1/2. So if you have 3, that's pretty close to half. So we're going to round that one to half. So 1 plus half is 1 1/2. 13/19 minus 2/11. Well, 13, half of 19 is what? Well, half of 10 is 5. Half of 9 is 4 1/2. So 5 and 4 1/2 would be 9 1/2. So that's more than half. What do you think? I'd probably round that one. Probably to half. And then 2/11. So 2 is considerably less than half of 11. So we round that one to 0. So 13/19 rounds to 1, like I said. 2/11 rounds to 0, which is 0. So we're going to have 1 minus 0 is uno. Like that Spanish. Okay, now we can also estimate by rounding mixed numbers. You compare each mixed number to the nearest whole number and the nearest half. Okay, for instance, 10 and 3/10, you would round to 10. 10 1/2, or 11. Well, we know it's going to be 10, so 10 at least. Now we just figure out the 3/10 part. Is it closer to 0, to half, or the whole? Well, half of 10 is 5. It's way less than 5, or it is less than 5, so we're going to round it to 0. So 3/10. Right, there's 3/10. So half of 10 would be 5/10. Would be here. 10 and 5/10 would be here. Around 3/10 to half, because it's close to 5/10. And we have 10 1/2. How far did Tasha? That's a lovely name. I think I'll name my next daughter Tasha. Or maybe Lucas will name his next doll Tasha. About how far did Tasha walk on Tuesday and Thursday? Well, on Tuesday she walked 5 1/10 miles, and on Thursday she walked 4 7/8 miles. So we only really need these two numbers here. Well, 5 1/10 was 4 7/8. 5 1/10, I just round that to 5. Because the 1/10 is considerably less than half. And 4 7/8, I'm going to round that to 5 as well, because 7/8 is almost another whole. So 4 and another whole is 5. So 5 plus 5 is 10 miles they walked on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay, how much farther? Ooh, that's a subtraction problem because we're comparing the two of them. Comparing Sunday and Thursday. Well, on Sunday she walked 8 9/10, and on Thursday she walked 4 7/8. So 8 9/10 minus 4 7/8, because we're comparing, we're going to subtract. Well, 9/10 is almost another whole, so that's 8 and another whole would be 9 minus 4 and let's say 7/8 is that's also another whole. So 4 plus another whole is 5. So we really have 9 here minus 5 here. 9 minus 5 is quattro. See? You get an additional experience. Not only do you get math from me, you also get some Spanish. Glad to do it. And I do it for free. Now, I'm not tired of looking at these tables, so we're going to skip it. Feel free to look at this one, pause it, look at it, enjoy it. Let's go to the next one. Okay, how far did Jerry skate on Tuesday and Sunday? Well, on Tuesday, he skated 3 1/5 miles. He's a skating fool. And on Sunday, he skated 2 6/7 miles. So, let's look and see what we're going to do. Let me get my magical pen out here. Let's see. Tuesday, 3 1/5. Sunday, Domingo, 2 6/7 miles. Well, 1/5 is not even close to half. 2 1/2 is half of 5, so we're considerably away from. We're gonna make that 3, I bet. Oh, look at that! See, great minds think alike. Now 6 7 is almost another one, right? So you have 2 and 1, and that's where they got that 3 from. The 2 and the 1. That's it. Rounded it to 3. And 3 plus 3 is 6. Ooh, you like the way I make that circle? I'm pretty good at circles. So let's move on to some more big fun. I gotta hurry and get through this or else we're in trouble. I have to record the whole thing over. That wouldn't be good. Go away, magical circles. Okay. So let's see. Here's one. Do this one. See what you think. So, as you can see from the big fun we're having, that 8 1/7 rounds to 8 because 1/7 is not even close to half, so it wouldn't be close to 8 1/2. And 3 1/5 is not even close to 3 1/2 because 1/5 is not close to half. So it's 8 minus 3 is 5. Let's have some more fun. 5 miles. Let's skip this one. I'm going to leave it on here for you to look at, pause, see what you get. So, we're around 3 1/5 to 3. We're around 6 3/7 to 6 1/2. And around 2 6/7 to 3. Because you have 2 and 6/7 is another one. So that's 2 plus 1 is 3. And add it all together. 3 plus 6 1/2 is 9 1/2. And 9 1/2 plus 3 1/2 is 12 1/2. Okay, so. Gosh, we're right. Imagine that. Now, here's what I want you to do. Unfortunately, they've already given you the answers to numbers 1 and 2. So you need to do 3 and 4 on this slide. And then you can go to the next question. There's one more question in just a minute. Feel free to pause as you do these questions. And then you can move on to the last question on the next page, which is coming up in about 3 seconds. Oh, there's the answer. Duh. I'm not happy with these people. Oh well, check your work. Now let's do the next one. Not happy with these people. See if you can get the same answer. Do this one and check your work, and I will see you all tomorrow. Oh, you want to know what the answer is? Do your work. Pause now. Do your work. Pause, pause, pause. I don't mean to pause on your cat. Okay, now you can come check the answer. About 37 pounds. Okay, now I'll see you tomorrow. Get off the video. Okay, press pause now. Stop the video. It's done.